Well, hey, Moto Warriors. See if I can get this in there. But I'm at Mount Rushmore, if you can see that in the background. I'm not sure what shows up, but man, this is great out here. It's so pretty. It's amazing. Let me see if I can turn this around and give you a better view. This is a nice view here. I doubt if the depth of field will, or the depth will show up, but that's the road right there you're coming up on, and you probably can't see it, but this is really pretty out here. The beauty of God's creation is really shown well in this area of the United States. Okay, so we can get a picture of it. Until I visited the Black Hills and saw the Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse, I didn't realize how much controversy surrounds it and how the land was obtained. That area is considered a very sacred, holy ground to the Ogallala Lakota Sioux. It's Lakota Nation. Some people say Sioux. But the U.S. government illegally took the land, and then at some point in the past, like 1980 or something, the Supreme Court ruled that the government took the land illegally and that they needed to pay $102 million to the Lakota Nation. They refused the money, and with time and interest, it's now over $1 billion, but the Lakota say, no, we want our sacred ground back. We don't want money. We want those faces gone, and we want our land back. And originally, the person who was going to, who came up with the idea for the sculpture, who wanted to do this and everything, he wanted to feature American West heroes, such as Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea, Ogallala Chief Red Cloud, Buffalo Bill Cody, and Ogallala Lakota Chief Crazy Horse. Wanted to do them all on that one thing. But Borglum, the guy who ended up doing it, said that it should have a broader appeal. So he chose the 4 presidents. You need to do the research on it. There's just so much involved in here. But we'll take a look at Crazy Horse in a minute here. The wind up there was really strong, but I was asking if you could see the family resemblance between me and George Washington. I was just kidding, obviously. Okay. This is the area right near Mount Rushmore. And at first, that makes me kind of angry that they won't let you drone this. But then my son said, they do helicopter tours here, and maybe that's why. I'm like, oh, there you go. Maybe that's why. That makes sense. Let's see. Well, if I can get a better shot up this way. This stuff never shows up as good on a video as it does in real life, but being a lifelong supporter of Native Americans, that's a story for another time. For a different video, I'm not going to get into that. But back in 1939, Henry Standing Bear was a Ogallala Lakota chief, and he had informed this sculptor, this Borglum who did Mount Rushmore. He wrote him a letter saying, "My fellow chiefs and I would like the white man to know that the red man has great heroes too." Now, if you remember from earlier, the original plan for Mount Rushmore, the guy who was originally going to do it, he wanted to include Crazy Horse and Red Cloud and Sacagawea, Lewis and Clark, and Buffalo Bill Cody, and and that got turned down, and the other guy did it, and then they just put you know U.S. presidents on it or whatever. But anyway, so Henry Standing Bear, kept trying to get something going. He was trying to get funding, trying to get people to sponsor him and everything, and to build it. Well, ultimately, he found this guy named Ziolkowski, who was kind of like an understudy to Borglum, who did what most people call Mount Rushmore, and he was kind of like an apprentice, sort of, and he was from Boston, and he worked with Henry Standing Bear and his brother to design, and to build this memorial for Crazy Horse. Well, the whole thing has been going on for like what 80 some years, and all they have to show for it is a face and like sort of an arm that goes out. They really don't have anything to show for it after all this amount of time. Now, if you think about Mount Rushmore, all of those faces were carved into there, and it was under 15 years for all of them to be planned and carved and whatever to make them what they are today. And yet, this Crazy Horse Memorial has been going on for 80 some years, and there's hardly anything to show for it. Now, what's really sad is that somehow it ended up in the hands. There's so much to this, I just don't have time to tell it. You guys need to look it up. But this Ziolkowski, or whatever his name is, things went into his control for the project. Okay, and at one point the government saw that it wasn't really going anywhere, and so they offered him. This was like back in the 40s or whatever, and they offered him $10 million. That's a nice offer. That's a chunk of change back then. And he turned it down. He said that he didn't want the government to, start telling the tribes what to do and whatever. And so he rejected it. But it stayed in his hands. Well, next thing you know, it's in his hands for 74 years of doing it, and then he died, and it went into his wife's hands, and now it's in their kids' hands and grandkids' hands and whatever. And the whole thing is just stomach wrenching. They were offered money several times to help finish it, and they refused the money. Well, I think that it's because this Ziolkowski's family is making so much money off of it that they don't want the government to come in or anybody to come in and look at their books. And because they're keeping it private, nobody can access their books. But if they'd have taken the government handout, the government could intervene and say, where's this money going? What's going on? So a lot of people are really upset about what's happening with it. As of 2018, so we're talking 5 years ago, they had accrued $77 million in assets alone. Excuse me. And every year they take in roughly $13 million in donations and admissions. They charge like $30 a person to get in to see this thing. And it's not even anywhere near completion. It's nothing compared to what it's supposed to be. And then they charge like $125 a person to be able to go up onto a scaffolding where you can kind of like be up closer and stuff like that. It's a ripoff, and a lot of people are now really upset from the Lakota, peoples, the Lakota Nation. One of an Oglala Sioux rancher in the area, or it says Sioux when I looked it up on Wikipedia, but a lot of Lakota think that that's a derogatory term, so they say Lakota, not Sioux. But anyway, this Ogallala rancher, he said that one non-Indian family has become millionaires off of our people. And that's what's really going on. Uh, the whole thing, it's not really benefiting the Native Americans, really. They're not getting the money from this. It's going into the family. He's building some kind of school thing where he can teach people about sculpting and whatever, whatever, whatever. Uh, they have a foundation, but all the money, it's like nobody knows where it's going. I'll give you one clue. But there is just so much. I mean, they've got 7 kids that are involved in this thing and whatever. And with that many people, you think they'd get something done, and they really haven't. And so it's been over 80 years, and they just, so they're saying that the estimated date, when they first started it, they said it would take 30 years. And now as of last year, they said there is no timeline for when it will be completed. And then they say, that they're hoping that the hand, the arm, the shoulder, the hairline, and the top of the horse's head were hoped to be finished by 2037. But if it's taken over 80 years and all they got is a face and stuff, I doubt that they're ever going to complete this. It's just a big money pit. People are this family that's in control of it. It just seems wrong that a white guy from Boston and his family, his descendants, are making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars off of it, and it's on land that the Ogallala Lakota, just like with Mount Rushmore, they consider it sacred ground. And a lot of them are saying, forget it, we're done, get out, whatever. They want their land back. And it's so, I won't spend money at Mount Rushmore to park. I mean, it's free to go see Mount Rushmore, but I won't put money in the pockets to park. I won't buy anything that shows Mount Rushmore or whatever. I won't pay $30 to go see Crazy Horse. If it ever gets back into the hands of Native Americans, if it gets back into the hands of the Lakota Nation, and they actually get it built, I would love to go see it. But I'm not going to do it now just so that some rich, some white guy from Boston can get rich off of the red man, as one of the former chiefs said. But anyway, Moto Warriors, I hope you enjoyed this, and remember to live your life with the heart of an Ogallala Lakota chief. Bye for now.